Violent extremism remains a major challenge to peace and development globally, and Nigeria is no exception. In response, the Sokoto State Government, in collaboration with Sokoto State Council of the Nigeria Union of Journalists and the Northeast Youth Initiative for Development, NAIF, recently organized a 3-day training for journalists to promote responsible reporting and strengthen national cohesion. Joining us to discuss the important initiative is the Executive Director of NAIF, Dauda Muhammad Gombe. After the news, I am Asma Habibu Shagari. This is Panorama coming to you from the Sokoto Network Center. The Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, JAM, has released the results of 2025 UTME receipt examination conducted for candidates affected by disruptions at selected centers across the country. In a statement by its public communication advisor, Dr. Fabian Benjamin, the board discloses that out of 336,845 candidates initially slated for the scheduled examination after isolating sessions from compromised centers and adding previously unverified candidates, 21,082 were recorded absent. JAM also decreased widespread examination malpractice involving candidates, school proprietors, and computer-based test CBT center operators. The board reveals that over 3,000 candidates across the country have been identified as either perpetrators or beneficiaries of various forms of examination fraud. JAM expressed appreciation to security agencies and partnering examination bodies for their support in facilitating the successful conduct of the 2025 UTME receipt. The Federal Ministry of Education says it remains committed to the provision of a conducive environment to promote education in the country, in line with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope agenda for the education sector. The ministry restated this in a statement by the Director Press, Folashade Barrio, while reacting to a viral video on social media revealing an inappropriate and unconducive setting for the conduct of examinations at Unity Secondary School in Asaba. The statement adds that the minister, Dr. Tunji Alausa, directed a full investigation into the matter and outcome will be made public. He stated that the incident depicted in the video is totally unaccepted and every effort will be made to combat such, as both WAEC and the Delta State government are liaising with the federal government on the issue. In line with the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu transforming health sector, the Nigerian Navy has strengthened government efforts in providing basic healthcare needs for Nigerians. This is as the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Ikechukwu Ogala, under the special intervention of Quick Impact Projects, renovated and supplied medical equipment and drugs to a comprehensive health center, Ogbolo Mari, in Nembe Council area of Bayelsa State. Baratu Ape Awe reports.
Beyond the protection of the nation's territorial waters, the Nigerian Navy has given pregnant women, children, and the aged in Nembe Kingdom access to quality health care, all thanks to the Chief of Naval Staff Special Intervention Quick Impact Project. The project, which was facilitated by an illustrious son of Nembe Kingdom, Rear Admiral Baratwaipri Iyala, saw the installation of a 10 kVA inverter system, 10,000 liters portable water system, furnishing and equipping of the maternity ward, the labor ward, the antenatal unit, laboratory department, and furnishing of pharmacy department, all at the Comprehensive Health Center, Ogbolumabri Nembe Council area of Bayelsa State.
So I appreciate the Chief of Naval Staff for doing this, because at least their son has given his all to the country, Nigeria, and he has deemed it fit for him to give back to his society where he was born.
Chief of Naval Staff Vice Admiral Ikechukwu Ogala, represented by the Commander Operation Delta Safe OPDS, Rear Admiral Noel Magudu, said the projects are avenues for the Nigerian Navy to honor its accomplished senior officers.
These projects are avenues for the Nigerian Navy to honor its accomplished senior officers. And it is also an indication that beyond physically securing lives and property, we are committed to serving the interests of Nigerians.
I hope that when we come back in future, that something else, something even bigger would have been added on to the project. So this is not just the end of it, this is the beginning of even better things.
The people of Nembe Kingdom, however, promised a more robust civil-military relationship from Ogbolumabri in Nembe Council area of Bayelsa State. Baratwaipre Awi, NTA News.
Minister of Regional Development Abubakar Momo has charged Nigerian women to brace up in the advocacy to increase women participation in politics. This was while receiving in his office the National Women Leadership of APC, Dr. Mary Idele Alile, who is seeking support in her project to empower women across the country. Ekene Ndule has more.
Records show that female lawmakers occupy only 4 out of 109 Senate seats and 16 out of 360 seats in the House of Representatives. This underrepresentation of women in the National Assembly and other decision-making processes is a source of worry to the national women leader of the APC. This meeting is to solicit support of the minister, urging him to add his voice to the conversation until 35% affirmation becomes a reality.
We want you to chip in your voice wherever the women matter comes up. That women should be remembered in every sphere of governance.
The minister expresses his support for the idea, adding that the ministry is already carrying out several programs in various communities to advance the cause of women.
By the time you push and fight for it, you will definitely get the necessary support. And you have started it well by bringing the matter to the front burner so that it will now attract perhaps legislation. From the point of view of the North, as of now, we have developed and set out the program to build 19 50-bed women and children hospitals in all the states.
2027 general elections is drawing closer. How much the women will achieve in the next election remains to be seen. In Abuja, Ekene Ndului, NTA News.
Continue after these messages. Please stay. A distinguished era in public service comes to a grateful close at the Nigerian Television Authority, Sokoto Zonal Network Center, as the station honors one of its most accomplished zonal directors, Dr. Kailani Yusuf, who bows out of service after 35 illustrious years. The immediate past director of programs of the Nigerian Television Authority headquarters, Lawal Ahmad, is among dignitaries that graced the send-forth ceremony held at the station premises. Sadia Omardigi has more.
It was a moment of mixed emotions at the NTA Sokoto Network Center as staff and well-wishers gathered to honor a man whose footprint in the organization spanned over 3 decades. The General Director, Dr. Kailani Yusuf, gracefully bows out of active service, leaving behind a legacy of professionalism, mentorship, and dedication. It was a fitting tribute to a man who dedicated his life in the service of the NTA. Guests, members of the management and staff described him as a visionary leader that has left indelible mark in the annals of the station.
He's a team member that is very professional in locating individuals who we can work with to achieve success.
Thank the zonal director for giving us the opportunity to be able to perform our duties.
Celebrant Kailani Yusuf appreciates Governor of Sokoto State Ahmad Aliyu and APC stalwarts Senator Aliyu Magatakarda Wamaku for their unwavering support and patronage of the NTA, with an appeal for its extension to the incoming zonal director.
I thank my colleagues, my staff, for what they have given me, because without their support, I doubt much if I can achieve all these things.
The event features a short drama and cultural display by Sokoto State Cultural Troupe. A souvenir was also presented to the outgoing zonal director by the Chairman Association of Proprietors of Private Schools, Sokoto State Chapter Ahmed Esfada. In Sokoto, Sadia Mardiki, NTA News.
Journalists have been asked to exercise professionalism in their reportage and advocate of peace through their reportage and public engagement in order to prevent violence, extremism, and contribute to the socio-economic development of the society. This was at the closing of a 3-day workshop organized by the Northwest Youth Initiative for Development, NAIF, in collaboration with the Nigeria Union of Journalists, NUJ, Sokoto State Council, and Sokoto State Government. Dalhata Abdullahi reports.
Violent extremism poses a serious threat to national peace, security, and development. Representatives of various media organizations at this training are being equipped with the knowledge and skills to report professionally and sensitively on issues related to violence, radicalism, and peace.
It's a privilege for us to learn again, or to relearn and also to unlearn something and learn other things.
As media practitioners, we can come in, bring in our expertise in promoting peace.
Conveners of the training expresses confidence that it will serve as a platform for a paradigm shift among journalists toward promoting peaceful coexistence in the country through their reportage, and urge the participants to pay attention and apply the knowledge acquired in their respective mediums.
The journalists who interact between the citizens and the government. So because of their strategic position, they are in a position that if they promote peace, peace will be sustained.
Information officers are well informed about ethical journalism and how to mitigate and prevent violent extremism in the discharge of their duties.
We have a lot to contribute to nation building, and that is what we have been doing.
The 3-day training had the theme Responsible Journalism as a Tool for Promoting Sustainable Peace and Development. In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
And now to our discussion segment, which is on professionalism in journalism. And I have with me in the studio to discuss this Dauda Muhammad Gombe, who's the Executive Director, Northeast Youth Initiative for Development, NAIF. We are going to talk about this and, of course, the recently held training workshop organized by this organization and the NUJ in Sokoto. Sir, you're welcome to Panorama this afternoon.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay. What motivates NUJ and NAIF to organize this training specifically for journalists?
Okay, thank you very much. First and foremost, I would like to start by explaining that NAIF is a national organization working across northern Nigeria to promote peace, harmony, and social cohesion. So over the last 13 to 15 years, we have been engaging in various communities, various states, to promote peace and stability, to engage in different stakeholders by ensuring communities are aware of the threats of terrorism and how they can respond when such things happen in a non-kinetic approach. Because kinetic approach is a work of the military and other security agencies who take arms. But our own work as a social organization is to see how to promote peace in a social way. So this training is a child of necessity. All of us are aware of the trend that is happening now in Sokoto and other states in the Northeast, the insecurity that have been perpetrated by the bandits and other insurgent group. So considering the strategic position of journalists, how important they are in the society, how society hold them so, kind of, whatsoever come out from their mouth, society believe it is true. So that's why we feel that if we get our communications correctly, if we get the information that's supposed to go to the last man in the community in the right way, then we'll be able to curtail this issue at the very early stage. Because what they usually say, prevention is better than cure.
Yes.
So what we're trying to do now is to prevent rather than we can, because curing is more expensive. So NUJ, NAIV, and Sokoto State Government find it important to train, engage, and support journalists on ethical journalism, responsible journalism, reporting accurately and balancing reporting, especially in the time of crisis. Very complex situation. If care is not taken, you may think that you are doing your work, but at the end of the day, you are harming your nation. You are harming your people. So it is good at this stage, people to understand what is the problem and how can I report in a manner that I will not instigate the situation, but rather I will reduce tension and I will promote stability, peace and security in my nation. That's why we find it worthy together to come to jointly do this work and support journalists with the best of the training they needed.
Okay, so how does violent extremism affect national development and, of course, social stability?
I think this is a common thing. Even if I didn't explain, it is visible everywhere. Now, let's look at the northern Nigeria, for instance. We are the major producers of agri-input in this country. With this violent extremism and the work of terrorism, where our farms are not accessible, where our business people are no longer coming to do the businesses they're supposed to do. Even with our neighboring countries, Niger are closing its border. This is closing. No, this salad that is coming. Niger say no ram should go out of its country. Whereas since the beginning, or even before we know, this country has become country as it is today, there is this communication, there is this transaction, there is this trade. So violent extremism is a kind of disease that destabilize, destroy, and put society in a disarray. So with the situation we are, people now are not even after what is for development. They're after what to eat, get a peaceful place to stay because of fear of attack, fear of intimidation, fear of harassment, and the rest. So violent extremism is a destabilizer that cannot even allow you to do business, cannot allow you to travel peacefully. Look at now, our road is no longer safe. You are traveling, you are at fear. So which type of investor will come? Which type of business will thrive at this kind of situation? Everywhere is dark. Everywhere is difficult. That's why it is good we engage the right people. Now, with this interview, thousands and millions of people will hear and will hear from the right people on the right issue. Other than when the other people speak, they say whatsoever they want. And so it is important that we understand violent extremism is a disease that needs to be tackled at the early stage. If it goes to that stage, it is a very difficult situation, and which require both kinetic and non-kinetic approach. And always, like I said earlier, prevention is better than cure.
Okay, what specific skills or knowledge did the participants gain to help them in their work?
Yeah, basically, number one of the skills we try to train them is that now, as a journalist, how can we develop programs and activities that centered around sensitization, awareness creation, and education on people to know the tricks, target, and whatsoever of violent extremists, especially the terrorists. How are they recruiting? How are they bypassing the traditional network, using social media to recruit people, to engage? How are they, kind of promoting their activities, providing misinformation, malinformation, and disinformation? These three things are very vital. People, they try to, divert the attention of people because they understand there is already tension, there is already problem, because they are leveraging on existing problem. What are they existing? The gap in social amenities, the failure in governance. So now they are working on that to ensure that they send their information in the way they want. So we now train journalists so that they come up with programs that they can counter, they can, discredit, do fact-checking to ensure, okay, if this information comes, that, okay, this have done this, how are we going to ensure that this information is accurate, is correct before we send out? So that they will ensure that they minimize, like I said, minimize the dangers of spreading fake news, hate speeches, because these are recently all of us see what happened just last week. a news outlet reported something that did not happen in Zamfara. If not because the Zamfara state government has rise up within time and with the support of journalists, they quickly investigate and find out that this thing is not there. How do you think by now this topic will have been a kind of very serious issue of concern in this country? So that's why we train them on that fact checking, on programs development, on how journalists can also serve as peace ambassadors in the society. Because it's not only in the room, news studio, it's not only about the reportage, but how within your community, also with the knowledge you have, you can now sensitize community, you can now engage community. Because for instance, some of the activities we are doing here, we established like alternative dispute resolution committees, which recently the police and others are telling us there is reduction in terms of reportage of minor grievances. These committees are resolving these issues in the community, and it's reducing tension. We have also trained even the security personnel, over 1,000 police on civil-military relationship. How can security personnel, how can security agencies collaborate and work with community to ensure less harm, less challenges during crisis?
So finally, are you planning to replicate this training in other states or regions?
Yeah, sure. We started in Northeast, and we are now in Northwest, and we're going to replicate this across Nigeria. And this training that we had now is just the first phase. We are going to have the second phase, especially around social media. How do journalists integrate social media into their work? How do we integrate AI? Because it's a child of necessity. We must get everything that is new and adopt it and promote our work in the society.
So thank you so much for having time to be on Panorama this afternoon.
Thank you so much, NTA, and together we shall promote peace.
All right.
Thank
so
you.
I have been talking with Dauda Muhammad Gombe, who is the Executive Director, Northeast Youth Initiative for Development, NAIF. Moving on, in a strategic move to enhance healthcare delivery, the Sokoto State government has unveiled plans to ease the pressure on urban hospitals by strengthening services in rural areas. State Commissioner of Health, Dr. Farouk Umar Abubakar, while briefing newsmen, disclosed that the initiative is part of Governor Ahmad Aliu's commitment to ensuring equitable healthcare access across the state. Abdullahi Umar Ilalu completes the report.
Sokoto remains one of the states in Nigeria grappling with high rates of maternal and infant mortality. Current statistics reveal that 1,000 women in every 100,000 deliveries lose their lives, a situation largely attributed to the unequal distribution of healthcare professionals between urban and rural communities.
More than 70 to 80% of our health professionals, doctors, nurses, pharmacists, medical lab scientists, etc., they are all residents and fostered in the state metropolis. Thus, by implication, leaving most of our general hospital and the primary health center without a required number of co-professionals.
To reverse this trend, the Sokoto state government reinforced the policy of mandatory postings for state-sponsored healthcare students, requiring them to serve a 2-year tenure at primary healthcare centers in rural areas. The initiative comes with a range of incentives as part of the administration's broader strategy to sustain reforms in the health sector.
We are mindful of the security, and while sending, we are going to give much emphasis of those that are coming from those areas, so that they go back to their community. I believe they will live more comfortable than somebody an outsider or from another area.
In addition, the government is collaborating with relevant professional bodies to enable medical students to undertake their internship programs at the state specialist hospital, thereby exposing them to the expertise of visiting consultants and improving local capacity. To further strengthen the initiative, the state government is currently sponsoring 267 medical students and 110 other health professionals, aimed at addressing manpower shortages and enhancing healthcare delivery in rural communities. This policy also seeks to eliminate the practice of non-professionals handling deliveries and critical medical cases, which remains a major factor behind the alarming maternal and infant mortality rates in the state. In Sokoto, Abdullah Omar Ilalu, NTA News.
And now to sports news. Let's join our sports desk for trending stories.